Hello.
Oh, shit, are we on?
Babe, what's your language?
Well, I wasn't ready. I didn't even know you went live, fool.
You said, yeah,
Oh,
go
I'm
live.
I'll be back.
Oh, my goodness.
I wasn't ready, I said.
Well, you told me to go live, so I did. Hello. Welcome to this week's episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live, where we're not ready to go yet, even though he told me to hit the go live button. Oh, well, we're getting there. In the meantime, we're enjoying our Halloween candy, which, by the way, Halloween was kind of crummy this year. We normally have a really huge party with the DJ and a dance floor. And this time we had a very civilized, social distance Halloween dinner.
Hi.
We had a very civilized Halloween dinner, is what I was saying.
Yeah, I cooked.
Yeah, so it was nice.
It was fine.
So, and then I bought candy because I'm like, oh, maybe people will still come because you wear a mask. It's Halloween.
Yeah, but the problem is some people are still just have fear of getting out.
I guess.
Especially with their kids. And I think there was a mix of fear of getting out and the assumption that most people are probably not going to let you come to their house.
I don't know.
Although I saw a lot of really clever directions people were doing. Like some people made like little catapults.
Yes,
They could
I
throw the
saw
food.
that.
One of the 501st guys made this long tube that he would stand at the end, and it was like an 8-foot tube, and he would stand on this thing and put candy, and they'd slide down the tube, and they'd catch it at the other end, so people could stay away. I saw another person just make bags, put them on a table outside.
That's true, too.
But they made 2 separate bags. They said allergy-free candy, and they made one that was chocolate and peanut
What do you
candy.
get allergy-free candy? A lollipop?
They were like
That's sad.
the lollipops and whatever other crap like that. But the other was like chocolate and peanuts,
Mm-hmm.
and they had it labeled on the table.
First of all, I ain't going through all that. You're going to get what you get. I'm so sorry. I mean,
And they had it labeled
that's
on
just
the
too
table.
much. Sorry.
Sorry, I wasn't fully ready.
So we were having the debate of Milk Duds versus Whoppers. And you're right. Whoppers are better. I'm just gonna throw that out there. And then we have the traditional trash candy, what Bobby calls them.
Can you answer this real quick?
Mm-hmm.
It's for Hulu.
What are you talking about?
Log in for Hulu.
Oh my goodness!
He's
I
good,
already
bud.
sent this.
I know.
Our
While you're
child-
doing that, I'll tell you this. Did you mention our new pillow?
I did not.
If you notice behind us, right between us, right here, it says subscribe. So make sure you're subscribing to our Facebook page and our YouTube channel and all those things before you do anything else in the joyful triumphs of this show.
Well, and I posted on the banner.
I went the wrong way with it.
Like, share, subscribe, tell your mom and them.
That's right.
Please tell everybody. Do it right now. Then what is the password?
I don't
my
know.
goodness.
Is that the Vader one?
No. Don't tell
Oh, is it
people my
mine?
passwords.
I don't even know what we're talking about.
Is
Sorry.
there a game? Oh, there's a Cowboys game
Yeah.
in there. Our child is trying to use my login to watch the Cowboys game. Whatever.
What happened when we're all
You
streaming?
know
these
what?
days?
And that's the thing. When you have kids, they never really grow up and go away. I mean, they stopped living with us, but we're still taking care of them.
Well,
Not
at
really.
some level. They take
Not
care of themselves.
really.
Like our kids are really good. They take care of
Pretty
themselves. They
I got to go
they
share.
don't ask us for money. They
No.
don't ask us for anything. They
No.
they just want to borrow movies, and he does the same thing he does. We do all streaming for everything, and he did the same thing. So now
Mhm.
football season has started, and he couldn't get it on whatever app he used to watch it on for some reason. So I just let him use my Hulu just for football season. He doesn't watch anything else, so it's not like it interferes with us. And if he's
We're
watching it
not
now,
watching
we're
it.
right here. So
Yeah. That's fine. We're not going to watch it because we have more Halloween movies we got to watch this weekend.
that's right.
Halloween is not over, my friends. It's a week-long celebration. All right. I think we're ready now to start talking about movies, waiting, letting people sign in. I'm sharing it right now to my page. I hope you've all shared it. Go share, go share. I'm going to go tell my chat group, come watch our show.
Sorry, yeah, we started a little bit early, and then obviously chaos ensued. The different things going on.
Oh, all right. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Rockin'.
Rockin' and rolling.
Did you tell everybody we had a big bowl of candy here?
I did. I was telling them the debate of Milk Duds and Whoppers.
Well.
And we've decided Whoppers are way better because Milk Duds, you say, are trash.
So let's talk about this before we talk about our movies. So every year, if you've been watching our show for long enough, you know it. Also, on the normal year of Halloween, we also make a big trip to Spirit.
Yes.
I wasn't going to do that this year because we didn't really go. Like last year, I worked at Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, the year before I worked at Spirit.
The
Year before I worked at Spirit. I applied last year and didn't get hired. And I didn't tell you today when I went to Spirit, the guy asked me if I was an employee. I said, I can give you my employee number, but they didn't hire me back these last 2 years for some reason. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah, no. He goes, yeah, it probably won't work. I was like, all right. But I decided to get up. We actually went to Spirit for the first time this year on Friday, just out and about. They opened one down the street from us.
Just looking around.
Found a couple things we wanted, so we were like, I'll go back on the sale day. If they have it, great. If they don't, no big deal. So we didn't get anything out. We took out Jason and Freddie from the movie room, and Billy. We have a Billy puppet over there from Saw. We put them out just for the trick-or-treaters and stuff. But we didn't. This over here you can't see, but Jason is basically guarding the closet of Hollywood goodness.
Yeah.
Halloween goodness. Excuse me.
These are not good.
So that's all of our great Halloween stuff is in there hidden. So anyway, but I went up there and bought our new build, which we'll debut him on the show because once we get him done, he'll be over here. And I bought.
You're digging through.
You can't really see it, but I bought this little sign right above Jason's head. It's a Camp Crystal Lake sign for Jason. It's actually really cool for this room. And we also bought a Welcome to Haddonfield, which if you don't know Haddonfield, that's from Halloween. So now we need to get an Elm Street sign they didn't have. So there was a couple things they didn't have, but it worked out well. But it was probably the smallest Halloween purchase we've done in years. Because we usually spend $300-$400, but get almost $1,000 worth of stuff.
Yeah.
The year I worked there is the year we got the biggest deal because we spent $300.
And we got the Slimer.
He's down there. But we bought a whole bunch of stuff that year because I had an employee discount and then it was 75% off. Mm-hmm. So we spent $300 that year, but probably got almost $2,000 worth of stuff.
Yeah.
It's craziness. Awesome. Which is why I haven't needed to buy anything in the last couple of years. All right, so let's move on. Do you want me to jump into one of the ones?
Jump into something, babe. Jump in.
So we have a lot of unplanned horror-related films. It wasn't planned this way.
It was like a horror weekend.
Well, it wasn't planned this way.
No,
we didn't pick.
I loved it.
Yeah, we didn't go like let's watch horror films. It's just every movie, obviously, that we watch. Horror,
not horror.
Well, except for the one animated one is a horror film. But
oh wow.
No, but we have one animated that's completely opposite of everything else. So here, I'll tell you about this one that I watched. It's this movie called Spree, and it's not about the candies.
I love Spree candy.
It's this movie Spree, and I know she's going to pop it up online. I'm going to sit this right in front of them. Look at this. I can sit in front of the candy bowl now.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. The candy serving purpose.
So people can see it. Are you going to pop it up, baby? Come on, sister.
I'm popping it up.
We're talking about Spree. So what's interesting about Spree, this is another one of those movies that I didn't really care, had no interest in. I was like, Joe Keery, I guess is how you say his name, right? He is, fans will know, you won't know, but fans will know he's one of the stars of Stranger Things.
Okay.
So fans of that show will probably be interested to see him. The movie also has David Arquette in it. He plays his dad.
How is he looking these days?
He looks exactly like David Arquette. He doesn't really age except for like gray hair and kind of. He's starting to look a little bit, but you'll see him.
Look like Dewey?
Yeah, you'll see him in Scream 5 next year.
I'm excited.
So anyway, what's interesting about this film is its whole purpose. It is a horror-esque film, right? It's more of a serial killer kind of thing. But the whole premise is this guy wants to become internet famous, like Instagram famous, excuse me. So it's all about him posting on Instagram and online and getting followers and likes. And so he does everything at the beginning, trying to do different silly videos and this and just talking to people. And he's just not getting the traffic he wants. So then he gets this idea to do this thing called The Lesson. And so he starts live streaming him killing people.
Oh, my.
So he becomes a spree driver, which is Uber, Lyft.
I gotcha.
That's what the spree is.
Okay.
So it's a double play on words. Killing spree, but it works for spree.
Gotcha.
So the image you see on the cover is people screaming in the car and him excitable because he's live streaming it. But then you have the dealing with the ultimatums of what happens when you live stream stuff.
Yeah.
You deal with people not believing you and still bashing you. Yeah. Then you deal with elements of like that one person you want to retweet or reshare everything because they're the ones with millions of followers. Your content's lame, so it makes him go crazier and crazier. It's actually a really fun movie. I didn't think it would work. I thought it was going to be one of those. It's just like, this is kind of dumb, but it worked really well.
I saw that it was saying something to like the digital whatever.
It is. It's very current because of what it's using, and so
It says American Psycho for the digital age.
Yeah, it's very much like watching a found footage film, but all the footage is used through Instagrams and so it's not as annoying shaky because it's
That's what I was gonna ask.
It's like any video you watch if you took yourself like this, as opposed to the cameras of people running and stuff.
I won't get nauseous.
No, and a lot of it is like him driving around in his car, so it's mounted on the dashboard. So, but when he's if there's a car wreck, you see the film and people screaming, people dying. So I don't want to give away a lot of what happens because it goes.
He looks crazy.
He is, and it's funny because there's elements you have to kind of let go because you're like, okay, you're live streaming these murders or whatever you're doing, and how are you getting away with stuff for so long? It's one of those two, but at the same time, you think about the fact of people not believing you, and people thinking it's all staged and how fake it looks, and we've heard stories about that where somebody actually killed somebody online and everybody thought it was fake, and then they find out it was real and they're like, oh my god, it's essentially what this movie is. So if you like him, and you wanted to see a movie that'll kind of freak you out in relation to what's real and what's not on the things.
I'm already
this movie, but you should check it out sometime. It's actually a fun little movie. I was I enjoyed it. So
I'm really liking this whole shift to now incorporating technology and the digital thing into movies. I know it started with that movie last year or the year before with was it Cho?
With what?
Mr. Cho. Was it him where he's looking for his daughter? Was it
well, it's been going through a lot of them, but yeah.
But, it was that, and even like that
the found
other
footage
movie,
thing kind of spawned this, where
the movie where the friends are online and then stuff is getting them, and then we had the movie, then the movie last week where they're really like using the media as well, like the online thing.
See, I like this one because the Hollywood Reporter says it says a serial killer flick that couldn't possibly be more of its moment. And that's all it is. It's literally all about this guy who just wants to be popular online.
Well, I want to take this and let's shift the conversation to this next movie.
Which perfectly works together. So what is the next movie, my dear?
The next movie we are going to talk about is this beautiful movie called Come Play.
And I think we're going to have some differences of opinions.
Okay. So this movie is about a little boy who we find out, I'm going to assume he has autism. He has something. He's nonverbal.
Yeah, he's nonverbal. They never really say.
And so he uses an app on the phone to speak, which if we go old school, kids used to maybe have like the little chart and they would like point to the little things.
Yeah, or the wheelchair. I mean, not the wheelchair, the thing that could hit and the robot would kind of talk kind of stuff different.
So now it's the same thing, but he's using his phone to communicate. But while doing that, some creepy thing pops up on his phone. And it's a story.
Like a storybook.
Of a monster named
A.K.A.
Larry.
And can I point out before you get into this review, I have something I'm very irritated about this.
What?
There's another reviewer. I'm not going to say the reviewer's name. I don't know them personally. But sometimes when I'm writing reviews, I'll read other reviews. Like I'll get stuck in my thoughts of like, what do I really think about this movie? I like this, I dislike this. So sometimes I'll read some other reviews to get other opinions. Because, sometimes I'll be like, that's what I'm thinking about this, or no, that's not what it is, and then it sparks grief. So I'm reading this review. The entire review, he refers to the creature as Jerry.
It's Larry.
And I'm like, I'm yelling at the screen. It's Larry, Larry. And this guy's bashing the movie, right? Ripping it apart. And I'm like,
at least get that right.
Don't rip a movie apart if you don't even know the character's name. Assholes. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's interesting though. This entire movie is literally this app or the storybook on the phone or computer or wherever, kind of coming to life. It's
okay.
Coming to life and like haunting them, essentially. So I'm gonna say this. I loved the use of the phone and the computer and all that in the movie. And how it wasn't hokey. It was actually really scary because they're reading the story. I'm like, don't turn the page. Don't turn the page.
I didn't find it scary at all. But of course, I'm not the person to ask that because I don't usually get scared at any of this stuff. This is one of those movies, and I don't normally like this kind of movie that they rely on jump scares, which is what this movie kind of does. But I did enjoy the movie. So I'm going to say that. I didn't dislike the movie. I'm with you. I like the way they used the technology. There's a specific scene, too, where when the creature is kind of coming out of the technology, very much like The Ring, where the little girl would come out of the TV.
Yeah.
But it comes out of multiple things at the same time.
Yes.
It's really cool
That
visually.
was a cool shot.
Doesn't make a lot of sense to what it actually did, but it's cool visually. What did you think of the ending? Even though we figured out the ending before it was ever going to happen.
I knew that was the ending. Like
because I know a lot
of
of reviewers hated the ending because they enjoyed what the setup was, but they hated the ending direction.
I am okay with the ending. What I did not like was the ending, like the
final shot.
The final shot, I did not like that. I thought it was just no.
See, and I actually like the way it ended because of the final shot. Because I would have been, if they hadn't had that final shot, I would have been the same. Because what happens without telling the ending is it becomes a different direction completely to the story.
Mm-hmm.
Which I can see how that frustrates people because they built up this one thing and then it goes a different direction, which
it makes sense.
It does. And I kind of dug that.
For the story. That's what would really happen.
But it's not what you think it is as it plays out.
Yeah.
That's really the only way I can say it. So the ending, doing what they did, I liked because it kind of played into the circle of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But had they not done that, it would have been just kind of like, They just kind of did this, and they were trying to do a different twist on an ending to this movie.
Yeah, I know. They were trying.
I think it's based on a book or something.
And it's still a little creepy, even in the end. So, I mean,
the little boy is really good.
That's what I was going to say. I loved that our main character was nonverbal.
Yeah.
Because you have to really get into his mindset and pay attention to the story.
Well, and it also, it's one of the other sides of the story that they played into as well, is there's which I thought was going to be a stereotype part of a film, which we always have. When you have a disabled person or a special kid or awkward kid or whatever it is, you always have the bullies that pick on them. So this one has that same bully, very mean kid.
Mm-hmm.
But then you find out that they have history.
Yeah.
And the direction of that history and how it's resolved is not average to these movies, because it made the nonverbal kid have to deal with a whole new set of emotions in regards to that situation and the Larry situation and his home life. There was a lot of things he had to deal with. Yeah, which made him more susceptible to everything.
I agree.
Yeah.
And then I guess in the end, it's kind of an interesting love story about family.
Yeah.
But then also,
a lot of terror.
Yeah, and then it's also a really interesting story about friendship.
Yeah.
And how people treat this little boy who's different.
Yeah.
You know, and because of that, a lot of that.
And it's interesting,
like
I was more enthralled by that bully kid part of the story than not in a bad way like the rest of it, but I just really, really liked the way they twisted that, and the fact that something so simple can cause such friction, but this kid who's nonverbal has no way of being able to tell anybody, hey, I didn't do this, or I wasn't a part of that.
Yeah, I didn't say that.
And the other kid doesn't say anything about it because he just assumes, because he's nonverbal. He's not going to tell him anything.
Yeah.
So he can't ever say, what the hell's your problem? And it kind of comes out of what occurred. And it's like typical kids when they realize, a lot of times in movies they drag it on, whatever, I don't believe you, blah, blah, blah. In this case, it's a typical kid go, oh, really?
He's like, oh, I didn't know that.
Okay, and then they're back to friends, and it's an interesting twist the way they were dealing with all that.
I loved it, and I love that main little kid, and I liked the little bully kid. He was good.
The lady that played his mom, Jillian Jacobs.
Yeah.
It's interesting seeing her play a mom character. I don't know. It's interesting seeing her play a mom type character.
Yeah.
She used to be on Community. She was like one of the crazy people on that show. So it was weird to me seeing her play the mother figure.
Yeah.
But I thought she was good in the movie.
I think she was really good. I liked the main kid. I did like the bully kid too, because he goes through a lot of emotions.
And he's not even a main part of the story.
No, he's secondary. But he had a big thing to do with the overall arc of what was happening at the beginning and what happened at the end. It's because of him that really things changed. So I like.
Is Winslow Fegley the main kid?
Yeah. No.
Is he the bully kid? Go to him.
Yeah, I think so.
What's he? I was trying to figure out what he was from that I knew him from.
Yeah, he's the bully kid.
What is he from?
Fegley.
Oh, he's from
He's the adventure Timmy Failure.
That's who I knew that kid from.
That's why he's good.
That's why he was good. We like that.
I love Timmy Failure.
All right.
So good. Anyways, you need to check out the movie. Come Play. It's a little bit creepy.
It is in theaters and on digital, I believe. If you want.
I really enjoyed it. I would watch it again. And it's the monster's name is Larry.
Yes, not Jerry, you asshole.
And I was like, Larry!
Yeah.
We found him.
They may not even know that reference.
Oh, and Practical Jokers.
All right,
Larry!
moving on. You want to just like jump in the middle of it with nothing that has anything to do with anything?
Go for it.
All right.
Oh, Lord.
We're going to jump into a movie that's not even Halloween based.
Not Halloween.
You
Or
thought I was
one
gonna talk about the
non-Halloween,
We'll do
yes.
the pigs in a minute. This one came out of left field, and it is a re-release. You may not have known this. This is a movie from 2007, I believe. It's got the Blu-ray treatment. It is not a Halloween movie, which we thought was hilarious to throw it in the middle of this because it came out this week, or it's coming out this week. It is the movie Tom and Jerry, A Nutcracker's Tale. So I am a huge Tom and Jerry fan. Now, most people in our generation are.
Yeah.
My kids hate Tom and Jerry.
I don't know why.
I think it's because I made them watch Tom and Jerry all
Is
the
it
time.
because they don't speak?
I don't know if it's that or it's just because I kept making them watch it because I watched it all the time. And was like, you should watch this. And they're like, this is stupid. You know, but they grew up with the SpongeBobs and the Barneys and all that crap, you know, so nothing good.
Nothing good.
SpongeBob's awesome, though. So anyway, so one of my big rules, like most people, is I don't care what their story is, Tom and Jerry can't talk.
I agree.
And in the original Tom and Jerry, the
first
movie that came out years ago, they talk.
Yeah, I didn't
And
like that.
although Droopy is in that movie, so that elevates it. Because Droopy is the best cartoon character ever created. You shut up. He is.
I don't like Droopy.
Because you don't know anything good. Look what you're drinking. But they did handle that cleverly in that movie, which is one of my favorite moments with those two characters when they finally talk. And I was very impressed when I talked to you about that the other day that you remembered that moment.
I am all Tom and Jerry.
I know, but I was just impressed you remember that moment from that movie.
Oh, yeah.
That specific moment.
Yeah.
Because he's like, you've never talked before. Why didn't you ever talk before?
It's like, I didn't have anything to say to you.
I remember seeing that in the theater because I saw that in the theater. I remember seeing it in the theater. I'm like, that is genius.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, now shut up.
Yeah, they shouldn't talk.
So thankfully, in this movie, they do not talk.
Yes.
And I believe that is the only film that's ever been made that they talked in.
Yeah, they shouldn't talk. It needs to go.
Now, that being said, I hate pretty much all things Nutcracker.
I love the Nutcracker.
I know you
It is my favorite, and I love to go see it every Christmas.
I just don't understand its excitement.
It's a ballet.
I don't care.
And it's a story.
I hated that
Clara,
movie that came out, the Nutcracker thing. I hate it. I don't like the ballet. I don't like any play I've seen of it.
Music.
I haven't ever liked any specials of it. It's not even that I don't like ballet. I just hate the story.
Come on.
Anyway.
You don't know what's good.
Before I tell you my thoughts on this film.
Yes.
What did you think of it?
I really enjoyed this movie because what they did is, since Tom and Jerry don't speak, they use some of the other characters to speak and kind of keep the story moving, even though I think we could have gotten it without it, but that's okay.
I don't think you could have with this movie. There was so many
There was a
things
lot going on.
Yeah.
But I liked it. So it's not the actual ballet of the Nutcracker. It's the story of is it Jerry dreams of being in the ballet.
He wants to
Jerry
dance
the Mouse
in the
wants to be in the Nutcracker. He wants to be the Nutcracker Prince. Okay.
Yeah, so it has a whole setup at the beginning
there's
where
a little
like
magic.
When it's over, then he now has to wait another year.
Yes, that's how I feel.
And
after I watch the ballet, I'm like,
when it's over, I'm like, thank God.
I've only taken you once to the ballet.
And I was miserable.
You're lucky I've not taken you to the opera.
I've been to opera, and if it's a right thing, I wouldn't mind. Again, it's not the ballet itself, and it's not the music that bothers me. It's the crap story.
Oh my gosh, it's not a crap story.
The Nutcracker is awful.
Fine, whatevs. So
you want to take me to Cannibal the musical?
Magic happens. My nose is so itchy. I'm so sorry. Magic happens. Jerry's dancing. The ballerina comes to life. All the toys are playing, and they come to life. And then the big evil cats from the alley show up and bust in.
Which I love. I'm one of those people. I don't typically like a lot of singing in the animated films that they do. Like, I get it, and I'm fine with it, especially if they're catchy songs. But I do like the opening one with the cats in the alley.
Yeah.
The King of the Alley cats or whatever. And that's the only time you get to see Tom talk because he sings along with them in the chorus.
He's singing, but you don't hear him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
which is fine. And which that did spawn. I was talking to somebody, one of our friends, and we got to talking about kind of the racist nature of Tom singing in the cartoons. When he did sing, and be like, his eye is, which isn't
that is
really
my favorite one. When
really
he sings to the girl on the balcony.
Yeah, which really isn't racist. It's just singing that song.
Well, there were some, I guess, racist ones because remember when they went native and they had like the little bows in their hair. That was flat out.
They did those were a stereotype.
Yeah, and I think they had a little blackface in one of them. Probably
of course they did.
But
But
you
we
don't find those
also
anymore,
talked that
can you?
I never felt, no, I think they pulled them all. I never found it racist either when it had the old black lady, the Thomas.
Oh, I loved her. She was the best.
But a lot of people came out thinking, well, that's a racist. I was like, to me, I always felt
that was his mom.
That was genius storytelling, because visual storytelling, because when they only showed
the bottom
from
of
the
her
waist
house
down,
dress,
you know, so she always had the
her pantyhose.
She had the pantyhose falling down. She had a slip, or she had.
It was her house coat.
Well, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
or I'm just saying different things,
yeah,
because she was dressed differently. She had her house shoes.
Yeah.
You know,
and
so
she'd get that broom.
You could see everything.
Chasing
Everything you could see in that image, you knew the character immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the same thing if somebody came in wearing a pair of slacks and tennis and shoes. You knew this is the businessman. I always thought that was genius storytelling, of not having to show a character, and just by seeing their feet, you knew everything about them.
Yeah.
But I think it was done for more effect. But yeah, anyway, but she's not in this movie.
It's just Tom and Jerry. It's okay. Anywho, they go on this whole big adventure. The cats try to take over. They have to get back to the theater before midnight or sunrise or whatever.
Yeah.
So an adventure ensues to go meet the toy maker. And
which I thought was an interesting twist.
I loved that. Yes, they got me. I was like,
when you realized what was happening.
Yes, it was so cool.
I actually enjoyed the movie. I thought it was. I watched it under protest because they sent it to me, and I'm like,
oh, you know, I was gonna watch it either way.
So I'm like, I'll watch this, but I can't rely on you to review anything. So
yeah,
I figured I would watch it, get the review done, play it in the background, and then I can write some crap review because I know about Tom and Jerry enough to figure it out. And I got involved in it. And I enjoyed it. I thought little things were clever, like the little horse can only talk if you pull her string.
Yes.
And so they paid attention to that every time. Like there's one part they're having a conversation where it's just like
pulling it.
But the first time they do it, they pull it. She talks kind of quick, and then they're like, and then she's like,
yes.
They're like,
oh, yeah. No, I thought it was very clever. There's a lot of little clever moments. There's one where there's like a little, he's a toy, but he comes unraveled really easy.
Oh, he looks like an elf on a shelf.
Yes. So, but he's like scared to touch anything. He's like, I don't want to unravel.
Right.
You know, and like the little horsey. And I mean, there's really cute characters.
Yeah. And it does have, sometimes things get lost in these kind of movies where the whole thing that makes Tom and Jerry is the ongoing pursuit of Tom trying to get Jerry.
Right.
Jerry always getting smarter than him. Tom getting beat up. It's a Roadrunner coyote all over again.
And it happens.
But then every so often them working together on certain things like it. So all that is in this movie, but it's spread out into a bigger story that works. It's not something I would watch probably again, but
I will watch it every Christmas.
I would much rather have the smaller stories, and I was a little disappointed they didn't work Spike into the story.
Where would he have been? There were no dogs in this one.
Well, and that's speciest.
Don't be specious.
Is that what it was?
Yes.
Specious? Okay.
Yeah.
If you don't know that song, look it up. That's awesome. Anyway, Tom and Jerry, A Nutcracker Tale, I believe, is available now.
There you go.
Or this coming week. If it's not available now, it'll be available on Tuesday. Either way.
It's a good one.
So grab your copy of it.
Check 1, 2.
It also has a couple of other. Yeah, it's got Tom and Jerry episodes, Night Before Christmas, and Santa's Little Helpers on here.
Cool.
So you got a couple of extra ones. So there's your Tom and Jerry goodness.
And some of your favorite old characters, like Jerry's cousin.
With the diapers.
Yes, and then the black cat. We always see the black cat.
It was Tom's friend, but he was kind of a jerk.
Yeah, the fat cat and the dumb cat. I mean, they're all there. Yeah. So there you go.
Anywho, all right. Do you want me to talk about my other movie real quick?
Yeah,
before we move on. All right. So this next one is
weird looking.
Called. I'm just jumping in. It's called Bullets of Justice. It is.
Wait till you see this picture.
It's insanity incarnate.
Let me make that a little bigger for y'all.
It is. Let me tell you. You might notice a familiar face on the poster.
It says "Oink Oink Mother Effer."
Yes.
Bullets of Justice.
Yes, and it's got Danny Trejo. Now he is in a very small part, but he is pivotal. So basically, the premise is, it's the end of World War III. Okay,
quite possible.
Excuse me, at the end of World War III, the government has created these mutant, half man, half pigs.
Are these good?
I don't know. They're
peanut butter
I don't know.
Snickers.
They're called. I think they're called the Bacon Army Bacon, something like that. So they're like these mutant pig people. And so now we've got these freedom fighters that are fighting against the mutant pig people. That face is justifiable for this film.
Okay, because
I love this.
like,
I love this
no.
freaking movie.
Does it make sense, or is it
It
just
makes
dumb?
sense as much as it needs to. And here's the thing: it is ridiculous. It is over the top. It is the kind of movie you would watch like at a grindhouse cinema. It is dirty. It's grimy. It's filthy. It's violent.
Then I get it.
It has
I got that.
nudity. It's got boobs galore. It's got penis galore. It's got
people in pig masks, obviously.
But it has good effects. Some of the effects look a little cheap because it's a kind of an independent type film. I believe it was actually a foreign film. Some of the dialogue, you can tell that it's kind of dubbed even though it's the same voice.
Yeah.
And the same mouth movements are speaking English, it looks like, but they probably did another dub later. There's just some ridiculousness to it, and that's not even the pig stuff. The pig stuff's not even the ridiculous part. There's just so many weird elements. Like there's a female character. Oh, look, go back to the poster. Go back to the poster and blow it up. I want to show everybody something.
Make it real big.
Okay, so you see right there the guy on the main middle of the poster holding the gun with the goggles.
This guy.
Right, the main guy.
Yes.
So you see the guy that's right under Danny Trejo and the pig?
This one?
Yeah, yes. Yeah. That is his sister with the mustache. And she is not a man. She is a girl with a mustache. And the only thing I can assume, I believe they explained it, but not really. But they are the kids of Danny Trejo. So I just assumed that's what I assumed.
Okay. All those kids would have a mustache.
So
that
it's just this batshit crazy movie that I am watching it going, what the hell is going on? And the entire time I have this big stupid smile on my face. I'm like, this is just awesome in every way impossible. That shouldn't exist.
So is there a point, like, what are they justicing for?
They're trying to save.
What are they trying to save, or what is
well, I mean, they're trying to stop something from destroying the world.
Oh, okay.
And they're not even really. I mean, the pig people fight is almost secondary because they're fighting a different problem.
Okay.
That they're going to destroy the planet or something. And the guy is. Do you remember the half thong? The half thong was the thing that was like. It popped up and guys were sharing it and women were sharing it because they thought it was hilarious. It covers your man sack, but then it only covers. Then it wraps around and goes through your butt cheek. So it only sits on one side.
Yeah.
There's a guy in the movie that wears that the entire film. That's all he's wearing. That because it goes to your butt cheek.
But it doesn't loop back.
It goes here,
and
up to the crack of your butt.
Yeah, I get
and then back around here, so it's held on by your butt cheek and your crack like a normal thong. He's wearing that. So there's an ongoing story with the lead and him and a vision, and you're trying to figure out that leads up to a dance battle and a very bizarre interpretive dance that I'm watching. I'm like, I have no idea why this exists, but I can't stop watching it. And then I'm
very confused.
And then there's aspects of the movie where they're actually trolling the audience because there's a scene, a dinner table scene. This is not a spoiler. That I can't. You have to see this movie to understand it. And you'll either be disgusted by it,
probably,
or you're going to be like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. But there's a scene where they feel like they're trolling the audience because they're at a dinner table. And it's a little person.
Okay.
And this lady whose face is all scarred up, both of which died earlier in the film. But they're miraculously back. You're like, what? Right? Because this lady took a saw blade to her face. And so now she got stitches all across her face. This guy got blown up he was in a backpack of a pig jetpack guy. He got blown up, and he had to do what happened. And then you have the brother and sister, and they're all eating dinner. And this guy takes his bag out. The little person takes his bag out, commences to opening it, and he spends, I'm telling you, 2-3 minutes opening this bag. It's like when you're at home, and you can't get a knot out.
Yes.
And you usually resort to scissors. He had no scissors. So it's literally watching something. So it's almost like somebody was filming it and they just forgot to stop filming it, but they let it play out.
That's
so he finally gets everything out.
That's funny.
He gives it to the other guy, and it's a head in a bag, right? Now it's got like a shrink wrap bag. Now we watch another couple minutes of the guy trying to get the shrink wrap. And I'm watching this going,
it's ridiculous. It sounds ridiculous.
I'm like, this is a bet. Somebody should have cut this. And I'm thinking, I think they're trying to mess with us. And it's not even, it's funny because it's uncomfortable. It's a very much of a Family Guy moment. So, but by the end of the movie, it is so out there. It's so ridiculous, so bizarre. I loved it. I this will be one I own and the one I try to show people.
Oh, great.
But it is an
Thanks.
acquired film. It is not a film just for anybody to watch.
Yeah.
If you like trauma stuff, if you like just grimy films, if you like just ridiculous nonsense, this is an awesome movie. And what she does not know that I have not told her yet,
What?
I had posted the review,
Yes.
and on Instagram I had the page for this movie.
Yes.
Responded, said thanks for the great review.
Oh, that's
right?
nice. That's always
Today,
good.
pull the poster back up. Today, the guy in the middle of the poster with the gun,
Yeah.
which is the lead actor, and I
Yeah.
believe the writer, sent me a direct message on Facebook
Aww.
saying, thank you so much for the review. I love it when reviewers understand what we were doing with the film.
Yay! See? We pay attention.
And so I told him, I
Oh,
appreciated
that's
this
so
film. I
good.
said, I love when people make films good or bad, that they make the film they want. I said, I can't wait to add it to my collection. And I said, and we're going to talk about it on our show tonight.
Good.
Are you crying?
No.
Oh.
I just
I was like, don't cry over Bullets of Justice. Jesus.
no, but you know what? That's what I appreciate just about, like you said, make the film you want to make. Whether people like it or not doesn't matter. So even like that other poor lady with the French film that got all the controversy,
Oh,
make
Cutie.
the film you want to make. People are going to get it or they're not.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just
And,
it.
and the people that made this film know their audience. They're not making a movie for everybody.
It's a grindhouse trauma.
Yeah, they're not
crowd.
making a movie for everybody. They're making
Yeah.
a movie for the very specific people that like cheap, bad, grimy, dirty, awesome, ridiculous nonsense films.
And there are some of those that are really good and fun.
I think you would actually like
I
this
probably
movie.
will, which
It's
is
just
sad.
so out there. I think you'd be like, this would be one of those that I would show you going, you're going to hate this movie. You're going to hate it. And then you come out and be like, that movie's awesome.
I like a wide range of things, but I also
But
try
there's
to
movies I show you that I
understand.
think you're going to love, and you're like, I hated this movie. I'm like,
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm open to watching whatever. I really am. I think that's the good thing about us is we will watch anything and we always try to find at least one good thing about every
yeah.
movie.
My whole attitude on movies and making movies changed when I started getting to work on them.
Yeah.
Working on TV productions and movies and some independent
So
films.
much work goes into
I worked
it.
on independent films with some friends. We made our own stuff. I worked on some big budget stuff. And seeing just the amount of work it goes into make 1 minute of film, I don't feel right just to rip everything apart.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are films that come out, there are no redeeming qualities. And I just have to say, like, I try to just be nice.
Somebody worked hard.
Yeah, I try to be nice about the bad things. I say not be bashing.
Yeah.
But this is one of the movies I actually had a blast with.
Good.
So,
There you go.
all right, moving on.
Next.
Bullets of Justice is available, I believe, on digital and on demand now.
Okay, so we
If you
have
can find it on the drive-in, watch it there.
yo, we still have like 4 more movies to talk about. Where do you want to go?
Well, this one's kind of a 2-part. Do we want to say that for the end?
No, we can do that
We're gonna do
now,
that now.
or we can do this one, or we can do
You tell
this
me.
one. Let's just go here because I haven't pulled up. Bless you. Right, something's getting
Excuse me, sorry.
I feel it really itchy in here.
That's because you have fleas.
I have fleas. So the next movie we're going to talk about is a Hulu original film. It is available now. You should go watch it, and it is the movie Bad Hair. So
Not to be
interesting.
confused with the movie Good Hair.
I do recommend that you go watch the documentary Good Hair and then watch
I
Bad
don't know if
Hair.
you read my review or not because you don't support me, but I did write in the review that you mentioned that you should watch
You
that
really
one and then the
should.
segment because they're a perfect combination.
Yes.
Even though one is Good Hair is a documentary about black people's hair,
Yes.
and then Bad Hair is a horror film about black people's hair.
Okay, so the documentary Good Hair came out a couple of years ago. It's Chris Rock.
Chris Rock narrates it and hosting it or whatever.
Yes,
in it.
and so they talk about how a lot of the hair extensions or weaves or wigs or whatever come from
Good Lord.
India.
What have you been eating over here?
Well, I
Single
try things and I don't like them, so
You're
I throw
piggy
them back.
woman. No waste in the trash candy.
It's trash candy. So a lot of the hair may come from India or from other countries, and they're transported here. And that in the United States, there is the feeling that you need to have quote unquote good hair to be taken seriously or to be looked upon as just one of the other people, like an average person. And it's funny because there's one line in the documentary where he's like, white people are scared of big hair, which is true because typically we don't get to see a lot of people with beautiful big afros, and I wish we would, or just natural hair doing their thing. And it's because he says people are afraid of that. So people
It
want to
very much
have
falls in
good
the same
hair
realm
so you
of-
can blend in with everyone.
It falls in the same room of Ugly Delicious about food and how people look at food and their
Yes.
cultures and be like, ugh.
Yeah, or like just skin tone, like even though I'm a brown person, you know, I don't want to be a dark brown person. I want to be a lighter brown person. I mean, it's a whole thing.
It's ironic we're talking about this because I actually this morning. Sorry, I got Skittle mouth.
Stuck in your teeth.
This morning, I saw a video pop up. It was an African American woman who's a weather girl, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was local. And she was wearing this hairstyle. Forgive me, I don't understand hairstyles because
you're a man.
I'm a man. But they were like buns.
Okay.
But they were like buns like this.
Was it like a little mohawk?
It was kind of a mohawk, but they were buns about this big.
That's cute.
So it was like 4 of them.
Yeah.
Right? And apparently people were praising her hair or whatever, but then a bunch of people started attacking her hair about inappropriate, not professional, blah, blah, blah. Wow. So she had come on, the news anchor or whoever it was, talked about it, and then she came on to speak about it, and then she spoke about her crown.
Yes.
And the whole mentality of how the justification of what is deemed proper and professional in Black women's hair.
Yeah.
Which isn't the same thing in other females' hair. Like, and then she's like,
fair.
who dictates how we wear our hair?
I agree.
Because then she did a whole thing about with the afros and the dreads, and they talked about how, you know, some of those stories were like the kids were told they had to cut their dreads to be in the graduations and stuff, but nobody else is being told to cut their hair.
Exactly, and it's not fair.
It's not. It's ridiculous.
And that's why I'm telling you've got to watch the documentary Good Hair. There were parts where I wanted to cry where like these little girls were like, but I want to have good hair. You know, his kid told him that. And he's like, well, what is good hair? Your hair is good. It's pretty. But people, that's the thing. Yeah. And totally, I agree with her. The Bible, if you believe in that, says that your hair is your crown. It is your veil. It is your covering. So you do whatever you want with your hair.
I'm clearly not ruling shit.
No, so you do what you want to do with your hair, and you be happy with it.
Anyway, let's talk about the new one.
But then that leads us to bad hair,
which neither one of us knew anything about.
No.
We were literally going, what should we watch? And I went, hey, I saw this thing pop up called Bad Hair. It looks like a horror film about hair. You want to watch it?
I'm like, yeah, I love it. And then it's interesting. So the movie starts, and there's a poster of what's her name? And
I don't remember
the main lady. It's her name.
Vanessa Williams.
Vanessa Williams, and it's like a billboard of her with like a shampoo ad. I'm like, hey, that's Vanessa Williams.
Mm.
And then
I don't think I remember that poster.
Yeah, and then Vanessa Williams shows up in the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? She's in this?
I think that was planned.
Oh, I didn't even know she was in it.
When they make movies, they have people that do sets.
Yeah. But
I'm pretty sure they knew she was cast in the movie.
I did not. I had no idea.
You did not.
I did not. And then the main girl, who's this main girl? Because she's really good. I'm gonna have to go find her. She's good in this movie.
Why don't you go to my review? But
the point of this is,
I'll tell you, she is. I'll tell you which one she is.
Ellie.
That's not her. Yeah, I think it is her.
I don't know, Ellie Lorraine. Y'all, this movie is crazy. I'm just going to tell you. So it starts off with our main lady who is working at this TV studio. And by the way,
it takes place in the 80s.
It's in the 80s, which I'm already in love. All the music, the clothes, everything is what I love. So I'm in heaven. This movie starts. And so our main character is trying to get a promotion.
Daria Kelly.
Who?
Oh, no, that's the little version.
This one.
Oh, maybe it is her. Okay.
Anna, right? Ellie.
Yeah.
Ellie Lorraine. Love her. She's trying to get this promotion, but then Vanessa Williams does one of these two. Are like,
well, you have to remember, there's something that happens when she's a kid that messes up her head.
Yeah.
Her hair.
Her sister was trying to do straightener at home and
burned her head.
It burned her head.
So now she has this permanent scar. And of course, so that means that the scar on your head, as you know, you usually have some sort of a bald spot.
Yeah. So she just leaves her hair natural and tries to like cover it up.
So she's self-conscious.
Yeah. But to get this promotion secretly, Vanessa Williams in a roundabout way is like, girl, you need to fix your hair, you need to fix your clothes, you need to do all this. But probably what people don't understand is getting all these things done costs a lot of money. And I think especially back then when it was just getting started with like weaves and getting them braid. So, and you didn't know that they actually sew that into your hair.
Well, I knew they did. I didn't know it was the way they did it.
It's aggressive.
Of course, in this one, I think it was a little more violent than it really
was very violent. So there's one point where they're like braiding her hair down and she's like, it's hurting and she's like passing out.
But she's also like digging and there's blood involved.
Yeah, when she's sewing in the thing, it's like digging into her scalp and blood's going everywhere. But that's the whole point of the movie. So, what did you think
Hold on.
overall?
Hold on. I'm trying to find something to tell you.
Okay.
Um,
This is a very violent movie. I'm just going to tell you now, it's a violent movie.
It is, and I actually enjoyed the movie. There's a couple of elements that were cheesed,
A little bit.
but they were still delivered. I think it works, and it's interesting how they do some urban legend stuff, and they use the cultural aspect of the black hair situation. And knowing everything I know about it because of good hair,
thank you, Chris Rock.
it makes it a little more creepy. But it's to me it worked because of some of the visuals.
Yeah.
And there's one sequence with there's a lot of kills in this movie. Or not a lot, but a few. But there's one sequence that could have been really cool, and that's what we talked about. Kind of the way they cut it kind of came off a little cheesy. But I think the reason it really came off cheesy because the sequence before that is so amazing.
Yeah.
Which is the one with the big hair thing. And yeah, it's like this one. It's kind of the epic moment of the film, and they do this a lot in lower budget films, and even one that I was in myself, that was a slasher flick. I came in and shot because a friend of mine was making an independent film. And they brought me in because I kind of did stunt with physicality, and so my kill in the movie is very aggressive and violent. I'm getting thrown around. I really got hit with a baseball bat while filming it, and got thrown into stuff and choked and strangled. Also, the rest of the movie they didn't have to show the kills because they didn't have the budget for that.
Right.
So they set the tone. So this scene is like your big moment.
Yeah.
And there's bigger moments later, but it's that big moment to really show how it works. That scene was amazing and beautiful and creepy and disturbing all at once. Yeah. So then we go to this next one that's a little cheese. And it felt like it should have been a different movie. Yeah. But it's just the way that we're doing it. You know?
And that's fine. I mean, we get it. I think it's so that they didn't have to spend a whole lot on blood and guts. I mean, we just get the overall tone and the idea of like, oh, okay, that's what's happening. I like that there's a little bit of creepy kind of it's not witchcraft, it's like
kind of that
mystic,
like voodoo-ish.
Mysticism-y, voodoo.
It's none of that, but it is that.
Yeah, I mean, like there's a reason why, and it all goes back a little bit to kind of slavery and what was happening then. So it's interesting, like it ties into what's happening now, what happened then, and how it all affects and everything. And I dug that part.
Yeah,
like there was
too.
a story, there was thought behind it. Yes.
And I don't know if you know, go back to the main cast page, Sean. Scroll up to go to that show, to the movie.
Okay. I don't know where.
No, that was the person, probably the right person. This lady right here.
Yes.
Lena, what is it? Lena Waithe. Waithe. I don't know if I say her name right. I love seeing her in the movie. She's huge in Hollywood.
Yeah.
In case you don't know, she's not just an actress. She was a big writer on Bones.
This lady.
But she created, she wrote the screenplay for Queen and Slim. She created.
She looks very tough.
Very what?
Tough, like don't mess with me.
She created the show The Chai, which is on Showtime.
Yeah, I see it here.
She created the show Boomerang.
Wow.
She's like really big. She was one of the writers and stars. So she's one of those that's kind of came out under the ground and has been in everything, and it's kind of, but she does that dual actor. She was also in Ready Player One.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so
but lots of people show up in this.
But Jay Farrow's in it, who's the one that does. He's really well known for doing the Denzel impressions and Eddie Murphy's, and you got Vanessa Williams and Kelly Rowland and James Vanderbeek shows up. Point. Yeah, Usher, James Vanderbeek.
Yeah,
and a lot of them have like these little small roles. They're just kind of in and out.
Yeah, but it all kind of ties together, and they all have purpose. Like. Yeah. Usher shows up again later for something else. Vanderbeek shows up later with a big thing.
Kelly Rowland's just barely there. It's weird.
Yeah, and you're like, hey, that's the singer lady. Oh, there she went.
I was like, that's the one that's not Beyonce.
Yeah, I like her better. I think she probably has a lovely.
But then she just showed up in what's that show that you gave up on? LA's Finest. She shows up in that show as the black cop's wife.
Oh.
And she's in like one scene that I've seen her in, so I'm like, whatever.
She's doing her thing. Anyways, it's a good. It's actually very interesting, and you should watch it.
It's a little creepy, a little cheese. The ending is a little cheese, but it still works.
Yeah, it all works.
It's interesting how it all ties together, and all of it is wrapped up into an '80s workplace drama.
Yes, that's the other thing. Like somebody's with someone, but they're cheating with
It's
someone.
every movie you ever saw where it's like you have the office romance affairs, then you have the people that are willing to step on you to get the big
And then
break.
you have the thing where it's like the corporate revamping and we're retooling. We're going to get rid of this person, bring someone younger.
You know, and then the main character is the one where, you know, they're the one that everybody loved, but they work their way up, and then when they finally get to the part, everybody hates them.
Mhm.
It's all of that wrapped into this
And then when
weird
people
horror
steal
film.
your good ideas and claim them
Yeah, and
as
it's
their
all
own,
wrapped into this weird horror film that works.
It works.
Yeah,
It's really
it is
good.
really
I think
cool.
it's important. And now I want to go see if some of those weird legends and stuff are true.
Who knows?
Because it's all deep rooted in slavery. And you
That's
know,
right.
back then there was some hoodoo going on.
That's right.
So
All right, so Bad Hair is available
Check it
now on exclusively on Hulu.
it is
If
really
you have
good.
Hulu, check it out.
Check. 1, 2.
And go to Amazon and watch more.
My check 1, 2.
All right, so we have what, 2 more?
We have this
Well, that's 2 more.
and
technically, that
then
one.
this.
So you pick one.
Let's talk about this and save the other one for
All
last.
right, so recently, or this weekend, they released, Blumhouse dived into an all-new film called The Craft Legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for those of you that don't know what that is, it is actually a sequel to a film. And what year did that come out?
The first one?
Yeah, it's right. It's in 1996. It's a sequel to the 1996 film The Craft. It is not about the company that makes macaroni and cheese. Now, there's been a lot of discussion.
Although that's what I wanted.
Yes, there's a lot of discussion about, oh no, I don't want a remake. I don't want to. I can tell you,
Slow your roll.
it is a sequel.
It
It
is.
is not a remake. Although the story is very similar in some elements,
Some of it.
but the trailer will lead you to believe. This is one of those with the new one that I think the trailer was not handled well, because the trailer leads you to believe it's the
It is
exact same
slated.
story,
Mhm.
and it is not.
Mhm.
It's a lot of differences, but still some of the stuff. But neither one of us had ever seen the original all the way through.
Yeah.
I tried to watch it back when it came out, and I hated it back then.
I think I saw it on TV where things got cut out and
Which
commercials.
really surprises me because you love Nev Campbell.
I do love Nev Campbell, but I think this was before Scream.
It was before Scream.
So I didn't go back and pick it up. So
And then
that's my
Fairuza
bad.
Balk, which I always like Fairuza Balk, but I think I like stuff past this movie too.
Correct.
So we dived in, we rewatched this film. This collector's edition was put out not long ago by Shout Factory.
Shout!
So it was perfect time to revisit the film. They knew something we didn't know, apparently.
Yeah.
So what did you think of the original film?
I enjoyed this film, and I'm glad that we finally went back and watched it. And as we watched it, I remembered bits and pieces of it, and Blind as a Feather and Stiff as a
Yeah.
Board, and then the other lady in the magic shop. So I did start remembering it. So it's like, okay, I did see this at some point on TV or something, and I'm sure all the good stuff got cut out. I enjoyed it. I liked it. I think some of the effects were like,
I mean, it's 96, so it is dated.
I mean, I think it did well, but yeah, it is a little bit dated,
Yeah.
but it works overall.
I still not a fan.
Yeah.
I didn't dislike it. I enjoyed it more than I remembered back then. It's fine. It is what it is. I will say it's not as hokey as I remember it being. It's a little darker.
Yeah.
I always remember it
kinda
being
dark.
kind of stupid,
Uh-uh.
and it is on some level, but
I remembered it being kind of creepy.
yeah. See, and I don't remember that. I remember trying to watch it and go, this movie sucks. This is stupid. And I have a friend, or
A
that's what
person
you'd call
you
it,
know.
a person I know that was a huge fan of this movie, but I think it was more a huge fan of Fairuza Balk than anything else.
Oh, but
So,
she's creepy looking.
And we used to argue about them. I'm like, this movie's balls, man. I don't want to watch this movie. So I'm surprised I hadn't seen it. But anyway, so revisited it. It was fine. I didn't hate it. I enjoyed what we saw.
Yeah.
I'll probably never watch it again. But
Yeah.
it
And
is
I
what
think
is.
it was good to watch it to have the foundation, because there are some things in the new one where some of the lines are the same. A few of the magic things are kind of the same, and they do some of the same things together.
Yeah. Well, and I also like.
So I think it was important to watch it
Like
again.
when we talked about witches last week, I also like seeing the movies and being able to compare elements, because there's elements you're going to like in one and the other, and maybe more so in one thing and not the other, and that kind of thing. So
Correct.
it's interesting. The difference being those are both essentially a remake of the same book.
Correct.
This one is this new one,
It's a
Craft
new
Legacy,
story.
is actually a new story, a sequel to the original. So
Correct.
if you're watching this right now, if you're still not on the fence about what it is a sequel. Very
Hopefully that's not a spoiler alert.
It is
but
very
here,
matter-of-factly a sequel.
spoiler alert.
Now, in relation to its connections to the original, I will not tell you that, But there are numerous references that make you realize that it's continuing in the same universe.
Correct.
That's all I will tell you. Because I actually had, I don't know if you saw my exchange under my review I posted. I did.
Yes, I don't know why somebody's trying to get you to tell them. We're not going to tell you.
They did tell me. I don't know if you read the whole thing. They did say at the end of it, I'm one of those people that will ask questions while watching the movie.
Oh no!
I said, response to her was like, I'm one of those people that can ignore you the entire time.
Yeah,
I will not reveal spoilers.
We don't do that.
I also remember when I first posted the trailer for this. She posted, I don't want a remake, and I said it was a sequel. But she started the discussion pretty funny. She goes, ugh, I don't like change. So it's kind of funny. But that was Little Alexander's mom from Taekwondo class.
Okay,
Little Alexander,
yeah.
Big Alexander. That was Little Alexander's mom.
I bet he's not little anymore.
He's bigger now, but they can't come to class now because they moved. By the way,
you can do virtual online.
That's right. He's
Blakey'sTaekwondo.com.
There's no Blakey's
Facebook. And
There's no Blakey'sTaekwondo.com. I don't know where you just
Blakey's Taekwondo on Facebook.
Although there is like a minister named Blakey, so you might have just sent him to him.
Oh, that's fine. Anyways.
And our Blakey, the Blue.
Okay, now this one, it's kind of the same but different. So again,
same idea.
These three girls are working together. They need their fourth person to finish their circle. The new girl, Lily, moves into town, and she has natural magic ability. And
she becomes their
fourth. And they start doing little things. I particularly liked the tone of the new one better. Maybe because it's newer and fresher.
I like the story of the new one better.
Yeah. And I think what I liked is that there was no Faruka, whatever. There's no mean girl. Like, they're all nice girls.
Yeah. And see, here's my thing is
personally.
I like the tone of the new movie better. I like the cast of the original one better. Because I like the different, how all four of them were completely different.
Yeah.
This one, it felt like they were kind of the same.
Yeah,
even though they're all dealing with their own things. And
there's two Hispanic girls, one black girl, and one whitey.
Even though they're
and the other one, they were all white girls. No, there were 3 white girls and 1 black girl.
Yeah.
But I guess one was kind of the richer girl, the poorer
girl. You're
girl.
saying that so hostily.
No,
There's 3 white girls.
I didn't say.
That's exactly how you said it.
I apologize.
I felt attacked.
Did you? Because
I am a white girl with rights.
You know what I mean.
Yeah,
I wasn't saying it that. I was just saying. I thought though that this was more representative of where they live. They're in California, so I would think there'd be more.
Well, I think
Hispanic
the
or
new one
Latino
also,
girls.
like people sometimes, which I've never understood this complaint. They're like, it doesn't feel like the old one. Well, it shouldn't feel like the old one if it's taking place in now. So this is a 2020 or 2019, whenever it's supposed to take place. That was 1996. So the whole tone and vibe should feel different.
Yeah, it is different.
It's not like the Star Wars movie where they're all still supposed to take place in the same universe. So if you don't look right, then I get that argument.
Yeah. No, I liked this one. I liked the story a little better, and I liked where we were going. And I do feel like because I watched the first one, I understood how some of the things were happening. Like, oh, you can't do that because this is going to happen. Yeah. So I knew ahead of time, like, when something goes wrong, like, that's why. But then there's a twist.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it plays where film you could technically watch it without seeing the original.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of elements you won't understand.
Yeah, there's a couple of cool one-liners that they say like
they would probably think, "Oh, those are fun. That's a great one-liner," not knowing it's from the original.
Yeah.
There's the connection stuff you may not totally grasp, but you may also just be like, "Ooh, what is this?"
Yeah.
You know,
it might not ruin it,
but it can stand on its own if it wanted to.
But I think for fans, you're gonna like it.
Yeah,
you'll like it.
No, I liked the fact that it was a little more. I don't know the word I'm looking for.
Describe the feeling.
Like some of the stuff's a little more aggressive in the original.
Yes.
You know, the spells.
I'm telling you, they were mean in the first one.
I know, but that's what I'm saying.
These girls are nice girls.
That's I think why I like the original parts of that part better. I like that they were these witches that were because the people had always treated them like crap.
Yeah, true.
And so now I would imagine a teenager that's treated like crap. That's exactly what they would do.
Probably.
But then you also have the people of the original that are like, look, we didn't mean anything by it. You know, once they original, like, spoiler, but when they don't have powers at the end in the original, they're like, hey, we'll still be friends. You know, we were just messing with you, you know. But in the new one, it feels, it's a different tone, which obviously is a good thing because it makes you feel like a different movie.
Yeah.
But I think they're dealing, some of the elements I felt, they felt obligated. And we're trying to inject so many cultural things
Like
now,
some social things happening.
which is important because it's now. But I'm always worried about that kind of stuff because they deal with like some homosexuality stuff, the alpha male mentality, and it works well. It's not something I'm saying. It just sometimes it feels like it's kind of forced into the story instead of being more organic. Like one of the bigger plot points dealing with gay stuff was handled well.
Gay stuff.
Well, because I don't want to.
Yeah, we don't want to spoil. There's more to the story than just that.
It's a very small part of the story, but it's
a
big
catalyst
part of
for
the
some
story.
other
Yeah,
characters.
so it's handled well, but I thought it was kind of abrupt. But it fits what they did as well.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of.
Well, there's a reason because there was
exactly, and I'm not against the gay
stuff involved.
My best friend's gay. I'm not against all that, but I like seeing it more organically play out.
Yeah. Well, this had to do with magic.
Yeah. I know. I get it.
There was stuff happening.
I do like the twist in this one better.
I do. And then you find out that what happened.
You figured it out early on.
Yes, I told you. I already knew.
Yeah.
Anyways, randomly, what's her name? What's her name playing her mom?
Michelle Monaghan.
Was surprising to me, I think.
Well, because it's another case of.
I don't see her as a mom yet. Maybe she really is in real life. Isn't she the one that
played Tom Cruise's wife in Mission Impossible?
I guess, yeah, but I don't expect her to be a mom. Like, I still think you're a hot senorita, 20 years old. But, I mean, maybe she is somebody's mom. I'm sure she is. But I just don't see you that way, yeah. I think she's a hot mamacita. Yeah.
Wife?
Now, who I was surprised with was David Duchovny.
Surprised that he was in it?
That he looks so old.
He is old.
But no, he just finished that whole stint on that other show.
You know, like Californication?
Yeah.
That's been over for years.
I know, but he was like the hot dude picking up chicks in that. And now
he was the old hot dude picking up chicks in that.
I guess, but he's not the hot dude anymore in this.
I thought he looked rugged.
Oh, no. He looked like, and his hair looked like he was losing hair, so they're trying to fluff it up.
I thought he looked cool.
Dude.
I was really happy with him.
I think the X-Files finally got him.
That's harsh.
Sorry, sir. But
I thought he looked mature. He looked kind of like Gordon Ramsay.
He looked like he was losing hair and trying to fluff it.
I thought he could play Gordon Ramsay in a movie.
Perhaps. I don't know.
David Duchovny is Gordon Ramsay in Blueberry.
You donkey. Anyways, The Craft Legacy is available now. I feel like I'm talking about macaroni and cheese. I am not. I am talking about this.
To me, I like them both equally.
Okay. Well,
but like I said, I like the cast in the original better. I think the new girls in the new one did fine.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I'm not a big fan of either film. So I felt like they were kind of the same thing.
I like them both. I think I like the new one better.
I like the story in the new one better. I like the darkness in the original better.
Yeah. That's different. There's some dark stuff at the end of this one. The other one I think was more throughout.
I didn't really. You know what it is? This one felt more like an episode of Buffy or Supernatural to me than it really felt like a film.
More my Supernatural.
You know what I mean? I think that's what it got me. Is some of that stuff, the ending, and some of the stuff they do felt more like these TV shows. So it felt so familiar. It didn't feel fresh.
Yeah.
Where The Craft, the original one, feels like a film.
I got you.
I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yes, I know what you're saying.
Anyway, whatever.
All right. So that's that. The Craft Legacy.
It's available now on demand.
It's on the line.
Maybe, I don't know if it's in theaters or not, but I know they did early access. We paid like $20 for it or something.
No, we did the renting.
That was the renting.
Oh,
it was like $20 to rent or $25 to. Remember, that's the whole thing with Bill and Ted you did?
Yes.
Where I told you to rent it, and
then you
bought it, and now we have it digitally, but we don't know where it's at now.
It's on Apple.
I was kidding. Way to play up for the show, sister.
Oh, sorry.
Set up an entire funny thing that we now own a movie. We have no idea where it's at. Sitting in a room full of movies that we have. And you're like, oh, it's right here. It's like,
it's on my telephone.
Anyway, moving on.
All right, next movie. Final movie for tonight.
Now, you didn't know anything. Despite me telling you numerous times, you knew nothing about this movie. I didn't know
what it was, who it was.
I've been wanting to see this movie for a while. I
don't even remember hearing about it.
Well, I only heard about it because I did stories about it. I wrote articles and posted the trailer and that kind of thing.
I know nothing.
But I like the star of it.
I do too.
I really like that assassin movie he did.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Was it called American Assassin?
I think so.
I really like that movie with him and Michael Keaton.
Yes. I'm Michael Keaton.
But I came into prominence of him, I think, the same time you did with Teen Wolf.
Yes.
Which I didn't ever finish.
I did. I watched the entire thing,
I did not.
and the ending was kind of sad and disappointing.
All right. Well, I didn't, but I liked him. He played Styles on I'm talking about Dylan O'Brien
Yes.
and his new film Love and Monsters,
Yes.
which I believe is based on a book.
You know what? I knew nothing about this at all. I didn't even know he was in it.
I told
And
her
he shows up on the screen. I'm like, oh, I
I
love
told her
this kid.
numerous times, because every time I'd say I want to watch Love and Monsters, she was like, "What is that?" This is how a conversation about every movie that we watch. We'll talk about a movie. She'll see a trailer. She'll be like, "Oh, I want to see that," and then I'll be like, "Honey, do you want to watch this? What is that?" And I'll tell her like, she'll like, "Oh, that's the exact thing she does." Oh, and then when we finally get rid of her, "Hey, you want to watch this? What is that one?" And I'm like,
this is the same movie though. Remember?
Yeah, same movie every time. Then she's like, "Oh, it's the same discussion every time." Yet, then we'll get in a situation of like something I don't remember, like Synchronic, and be like, "Honey, we saw that trailer. Don't you remember?" Like suddenly she's empowered because she remembers one trailer of all the stuff we watched, but she can't remember the thing I talked to her about 18 times.
Okay, it's probably more like 4.
Dozen.
No, 4.
Anyway, so this one, I've been eager to see this movie because, monsters. So I was instantly in, and Dylan O'Brien.
He's a good kid.
But I knew nothing about the movie, and I never watched the trailer.
Oh, you didn't?
I just saw what it was about from the synopsis. I saw some clips from the trailer, but I purposely didn't watch it because I'm excited. So this movie came out a couple of weeks ago on digital. And I was hoping they were going to send me a screener for it. They never did. So we were planning to pay to watch it.
Yeah.
And then it got past it being out, so I thought, well, I'll just wait till it comes out on Blu-ray or DVD.
Yeah,
we'll review it then. And then out of nowhere on Friday, the screener showed up. And I'm like, oh! So then we sat down to watch it. So we sat down to watch it, and tell everybody what it's about.
So it's about this guy. His name's Dylan. Not really. That's the actor's name.
Trash candy.
Basically, it's post-apocalyptic. Okay, stuff was happening. They sent bombs into the air, and of course, nuclear fallout. But what they did not realize is they had created a special chemical that when the fallout came, it would not affect humans. So yay! But what they didn't account for was that the fallout actually affected all the insects.
Animals too.
Animals, insects on planet. So now we have giganto spiders, frogs and centipedes that are like the size of houses, and they're out eating the humans.
So it's essentially a movie that's a love story and has kaiju.
Yes.
Which made me excited.
The creepiest one, I think, is this giant bullfrog thing living in someone's swimming pool. And the little eyes go boop, boop, boop.
And see, and I knew exactly what did I say when I was like, y'all need to move.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all need to move.
And
she's like looking at me, and I'm like, they need to move. The tongue is coming.
Yep,
and then here comes that tongue and starts hitting stuff.
Which... There's one, I think the creepiest, was like the millipede or the centipede or whatever.
Oh, the one that comes up this way?
Yeah, so it comes out of the ground.
We're not spoiling anything, trust me.
No, they're like this.
They're creepy that size.
But then they come up and all his little tentacle feet are like, I'm like, ah. So first of all, this movie creeped me the heck out because I am so scared of all insects in the planet.
So I'm glad she said that statement because this is not a scary movie.
Not at all.
This is a very light, it's a heavy movie.
It's like a dark comedy movie.
It is. It's a comedy. It's light, but it's heavy. It is a romantic love story.
Very much.
That just happens to be engulfed in the apocalypse and monsters.
Yes.
And I was a little worried, like, how is this going to really work? Because, it gets lost. But it's got like an adventure journey, and it's all based on this whole catalyst of this thing is not even about fighting the monsters. It's about love.
It's about love.
And it just freaking works. It's so good.
It's crazy.
I think this might end up on my top 10 list for the year.
I agree. This movie is excellente.
It is. It's so good.
I'm trying to think if there's anything bad about it, and I don't think so. I think it really
Michael
works.
Rooker shows up.
Yeah.
And he plays just like this weird character with this little kid that just steals the movie.
Oh, she's adorable.
But Dylan O'Brien, there's a lot of characters in the movie, so it's not one of those where he's by himself the whole time. But Dylan O'Brien carries the movie.
He does, and he's our narrator as well.
Yeah,
he's telling us the story.
And I'm usually annoyed by narrators, but it works.
I loved it.
It is very much Zombieland.
Yes.
Where he's giving you the rules.
But not zombies, they're giant bugs.
But he talks about different rules and what's going on, and his character is creating like a journal of how to kill the creatures and which ones they are.
Yeah.
Because he's an artist. So he draws a picture of the bug, and when they kill one, he writes information about said bug. So it's got so many layers and elements, and it's it's such a fun, heartfelt movie.
Yeah.
But it's sold so well because the creatures and the effects they use are so awesome.
So good. It is. And I think really, and so it's the love story, but I think it's also about his journey about becoming a man.
Yeah, because he's super awkward. He's not the hero type. He has issues with freezing and if it's sign of danger.
And they're like, you know what? You make good soup. Go make us minestrone.
Yeah, he's ready to, at one point at the beginning, he's ready to go fight with them.
Like, no.
And they're like, where are you going? He's like, I'm going to go with you. And then he's like, I'm going. And he goes and he has a situation. And they're like, we're sorry, dude, but you're good at this.
Yeah, go cook. So they just have him cooking.
But it's interesting because it shows how love gives you strength to do things you wouldn't have done otherwise. Not me. I don't give a crap about you. I was strong without your nonsense.
Wow.
But no, because that's his catalyst for stepping up.
Yes.
Was he's got to find his woman.
Yes.
And it kind of shows that helps you get through the. Now that doesn't help you once you've made that decision. You're like, oh crap, what have I done?
Yeah.
But it's his journey that makes the movie work, and the creatures, and every one of them could have come off really stupid looking.
Yeah, but they were actually really creepy.
And there's something more creepy / terrifying of seeing something that exists,
giant,
bigger and mutated, than like a snail. The snail got me. Yeah, the snail. There's a snail in the movie
because I understood immediately. I'm like, you're like, what is it? I'm like,
well, it wasn't so much that is I didn't understand the angle. So it
no,
looked like
and I didn't need to, but I understood what that little jelly head was.
Well, I wasn't. That's the thing is I wasn't paying attention to the underside because once I looked down and saw the underside, I realized, I see what that is.
The way they shot that,
I was looking at its top with a head because it had all the little barb looking things.
But that's what it is.
I know, but I was just looking at that.
And then if you think about it, a snail, like you accidentally just snap on it, it goes crunch. But this thing's like,
yeah, it's like the size of a house. But it's interesting because that snail is creepy in the movie, but it's a very important element. It's an important
thing you need to know.
To the movie. It's not a spoiler, but it's an important element to the bigger picture of the creatures.
Yes. You got to understand some things about it.
Yeah, so I thought that was a very clever look, but it was probably the coolest design of them all, in my opinion.
And I think, though, taking that into account about the snail and other creatures, it also is interesting that same logic applies to humans. You know, that they were talking about, well, you can't always just do this or do that. You got to know. And how do you know? Because later on, throughout the course of the movie, I mean, obviously, there's good people and bad people. He's on this journey. Who's going to help him? Who's not? You know, the whole love thing. But then there's more thing like about family. Like, who's your family? Yeah. Who do you trust? And you know what? Who can you go to?
You saying that's the other thing that I think I really loved about this movie, but didn't really realize it until you just said it. Is there's really no bad people in this movie. But I'm saying it a whole because there's always like a Michael Rooker type character shows up. Usually has this ulterior motive that's going to turn on you, or there's somebody that's their whole job is being an asshole and whatever. And there really isn't that in this movie. There's jerks,
there's a couple of jerks.
There's no real. I'm looking to screw you over. It's like everybody's into this together.
Yeah, no,
they just know their places.
Yeah, no one's out to like kill someone and do stuff.
Which that's the thing that always has to be thrown in there. It's that
because you didn't need it.
No, because in normal society we've learned over the years of movies the real monsters in every monster movie are the humans. Not the Jasons and the Freddys and the creatures. It's the people that are the jerks that they kill most of the time. And
this movie I did like that. I like that the society that's left behind understands we got to work together.
Yeah, they're not meaning to be an ass to him. They just realize, look, you're not going to help us with this.
Yeah. I think my other favorite part of it is kind of the use of technology or lack of technology because there is no more anything. So people are having to use radios to communicate. And I like that. And there's something that happens later on with the radio and power. And that I like that part of the story. I don't want to say it because it's cute. But it's interesting.
It's a good movie, man.
It is so good. And the monsters are done so well. Or the creatures.
It's one of those movies that doesn't need a sequel, but I hope they would make one.
It's so good.
Because there's still other stories you could tell from the way it ends.
Yeah, I mean,
there's other journeys.
And he's good in it.
Yeah.
And then he meets a companion along his journey, which is the best.
It is pretty awesome. That whole element of the beginning of that. And I was irritated that it went with him, though.
No.
Because I'm like, you got a cool pad. Don't go with him.
I know, but it was awesome. Anyway. And then, the love story is interesting. And I think the other thing that's funny, too, is just at the beginning, he's there by himself with all these couples. Everyone's coupled up. But there is no real privacy because they're just kind of living together.
There's a scene where these two people are just naked laying in bed. And he's walking. He's like,
you know your door's open. He's like,
He goes, is this a thing all the time? We're like, yeah, pretty much. He goes, okay.
He's like, okay. So it was interesting. I
It was
really,
good. I loved the
really
movie. It was
enjoyed it.
awesome.
I'm glad I knew nothing about it going
Yeah,
into it.
if you're gonna watch it, I would skip
Just
the trailer
watch
stuff. Just go watch it, have a good time.
Just listen to us. Watch it
and
now.
if you hate it, then you didn't hear it here.
You didn't get it. If you hated it, you
That's
didn't get
right.
it. Watch it again.
All right. So
All right,
it's
next.
available now on demand and digital
There you go.
from Paramount Home Entertainment.
There you go.
Or Paramount Pictures, not Home Entertainment yet. All right, so I guess we
Very
got to talk about
good.
contests.
Let's talk about some contests.
Let's talk about some contests. We got some interesting contests happening at the moment. We have a couple that are about to come to an end, including, we got the 4K of 300 that we were getting.
That was me being 300.
Thank you. You look 300.
Wow.
Anyway, we got the 4Ks of 300. Okay. We got the complete first season of Picard.
I
They're
love
taking it
it.
away.
It's so good. You've got to watch it now.
And now we have some new ones on the horizon here. One being one we talked about today, the good old Tom and Jerry and Nutcracker Tale. We got
Very
that
good.
on Blu-ray. You can check it out. Win you a copy of it. If you don't want a copy of it, don't enter the contest. Problem solved. We have a copy of V for Vendetta on 4K, which you've never seen, you said.
I don't think I've ever seen this.
No.
I'm going to have to watch it.
The Ides of March. All right, so we're going to have to watch and discuss this movie next week
Okay.
because it comes
For
out
sure.
Tuesday, so we'll
For
watch
sure.
it. So we got copies of V for Vendetta on 4K. And lastly, a movie we have discussed on this show, we have copies of Train to Busan Presents Peninsula, the sequel to Train to Busan. So we have copies of that to give away as well.
And then you found out there was a sequel. for
Well,
this
I
series,
knew it
right?
existed. I just didn't think it was ever released here.
We're going to go
and now I
watch
forgot
it.
the name of it. Something Soul,
Soul.
not Soul Train. That's what Snoop Dogg.
No, this is Soul, like Soul Korea.
Anyway, it's an animated prequel to Train to Busan. I like that you just typed in
Is it
Soul.
that one?
No, I don't
Soul
think.
Searching, Soul Raiders.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Anyway, it's an animated prequel that I found actually on Amazon. So we'll watch it and talk about it later
We'll
on.
find it.
It's a prequel to that. It tells about how all of it started by one lone old man in the train station. So, anyway, moving on.
All right.
Do I still need to talk about what's coming on
Yes,
Blu-ray?
tell me
for
what's
next?
on the Blu-ray.
All right. So this week, V for Vendetta is coming out on 4K.
Okay, there you go. Well, we got your hookup.
That's right. Antebellum that we've
Nice.
talked about on the show is coming out on Blu-ray and DVD.
That was a good one, you guys. It was interesting.
Hard Kill, starring Jesse Metcalfe and Bruce Willis, is coming out. Let's Scare Julie, some like horror film type thing is coming out.
Okay.
Probably the biggest thing coming out this week is this bad boy here, which is
Oh my gosh.
Game of Thrones, the complete series on 4K. So they have released Game of Thrones already on Blu-ray in a collector set. Now they're putting out this big 4K box set that, according to the back here, Forbes has called it riveting and glorious.
Soul Station.
I enjoyed the whole show.
Overall,
not-
I did. There were moments where it was just like,
Yeah, there was seasons I struggled. The first season, we both struggled to get through the first.
Well, and
It
I
got
think as you
convoluted.
said, there were some characters that just kind of looked alike or looked similar, and then I'm like, okay, wait
yeah,
a
I think there were
minute.
some bad acting
Who's
choices,
who?
actor choices.
Yeah. Like, you can't, because Jon Snow
Everybody's
had
good
the
in the
dark
movie.
hair, and that one other guy had the dark hair.
Yeah,
and you're
everybody's
like,
good in
what?
the show. It got convoluted.
It's
And it just
convoluted.
lost me. But and I, unlike a lot of people, like the way it ended.
Yeah, it's fine.
We also never read the books, so we're not as invested.
Maybe
as everybody
reading the
else.
books would have been easier.
So anyway, but
Who knows?
4K complete collection coming out this week from Warner Brothers Home Entertainment and HBO.
There you go.
What's with you, sister?
All right, coming out at the theater or online. So coming out nationwide, the movie Let Him Go with Kevin Costner,
Karshner.
Costner and Diane Lane.
Yes.
This is the one where the grandparents lose their son and they want to go get the grandson.
Yeah, because it's the dangerous family that decides
Yes.
to keep them. So
Mhm.
it's basically just craziness.
Craziness
I'm assuming.
ensues.
We assume. We don't know.
I'm excited.
But we will be
I'm
talking about it
excited to
next
see
week.
them too. That's limited release. Okay, video demand and digital. The movie Triggered.
Which I watched today.
Some friends go camping in the woods and they are suddenly attacked or something, and there's bombs strapped to them.
They
or
basically
something.
wake up with bombs strapped to them, and then the rest of the movie is about a game that they have to try to kill each other to survive.
Okay.
That's all you need to know.
Video Demand and Digital Possessor Uncut.
So I'm very looking forward to.
I don't
It's
know.
from Brandon Cronenberg, the son of David Cronenberg.
Okay.
David Cronenberg did the original Rabid, I believe.
Okay, so brain implantments take place. There's something implanted in their brains, and they no longer have control of their bodies.
Yeah, it looks really weird.
Interesting. Okay. Then the rest of these things are limited release, so they're probably not coming out.
Yeah, that's a Matt Damon movie.
It's Matt Damon, but it says limited, so it might be next week when full release. So that's it, really.
Oh, go back to, is that one this week? Jungle Land?
Limited release.
Is that this week or not?
No, because it's limited release.
It can still be coming out
next week. It's
Okay.
coming out unlimited.
Okay, well, I can tell you this. I have a copy of it that we can already watch.
Okay, this movie called Jungle Land, and it has people in
It's
it.
got Charlie Hunnam in it from Sons of Anarchy.
Okay, these people travel across country for a fight. Who knows? That's all I know. Traveling cross country.
Traveling.
Well, I don't ever
cross-country.
mention a lot of these limited release because people may not be able to find them.
I know, but a lot of them show up on demand. And that
all
kind of
right.
thing too,
Well,
so
there's a bunch of stuff.
That's fine. No worries.
I really want to see this movie, Kindred.
Is it a vampire movie?
It's not a vampire
Oh, okay.
movie. It's the movie about this lady who's pregnant and her husband dies in a car accident, and then his family's like, "Oh, come live with us. We'll take care of you."
Oh, I do know what movie this is.
But they kind of start holding her prisoner.
They're like creepy. Okay, I know what
Kind of
this movie is.
creepy. If we get that, I would like to watch that one. Thank
Alright.
you. Next. I think that's it.
That's it.
All right. Well,
All right. Well,
thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live. Please go like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, tell everyone you know. Don't forget to go check out the contest page for free stuff. Yes, subscribe. Do it now. Thank you for watching us live on Facebook and YouTube. We love you. You're awesome. You can also find us on the Twitter and the Instagram.
that's right. And I have no idea what shows will happen during the week, but I can tell you we'll be back for Hollywood Matrimony Live next Sunday. But again, make sure you hit subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Go follow our Facebook pages. If you want to see the couple of videos I did, one about my Star Wars collection, as well as on how we put together a home theater system for under $500. I posted videos on our YouTube channel for both of those if you'd like to check them out. They are not sponsored by anybody. They are not, nothing was given to us free. It is all stuff we paid for ourselves. I had a couple friends ask about it, so I said, why not put it on our channel?
There you go.
So we don't get monetized. We don't have enough followers or people, anything else.
All we get is free stuff that then we then give to you. So
That's right.
there you go.
Or, I mean, we get free movies and stuff, but they're not really free because I have to write a review.
Correct.
So I'm working for it.
And then we talk about it on the show.
That's right. So, but the more subscribers you get, the more followers we get, the more hits we get to our website, the more stuff they send me to give you. So make sure you get on there, tell your friends, tell your family, and above all else,
be kind to everyone.
there you go. Peace and love,
Thank
children.
you so much.
Hope everybody had a safe Halloween. We're looking forward to your Thanksgiving year. Be safe, be happy, and above all else, be respectful to everybody else, no matter how this week turns out with the election. It is what it is, but we can still be friends. We can still get along, and we can still figure out how to fix this world together.
I agree. Talk to you soon.